Today we're going to the birthplace of Jesse James. Hey everybody, I'm Kenny. This is Sagebrush Soul, and our trip continues. Getting off the beaten path today, not necessarily going in a straight line as we were before, but I think I've mentioned probably a lot of times in this series so far that in 1989 we came out here and for the National FFA convention, and our advisor brought us to a bunch of historical sites out here, one being Jesse James's farm. It's where he was born. It's where he grew up. It's where he was originally buried before he was moved to the cemetery. I was talking to Jerry at the Jesse James Home Museum that it's changed a lot. When we came, I don't think they let us film in the house, but we actually got to go in the house. And Jerry was saying that they no longer allow you to go into the house, that it's probably getting kind of dilapidated and not really safe to do so. But you can, move about the buildings. So we're going to go check it out and see how much has changed, but get some high-res video of Jesse James's birthplace. Clay County purchased the farm from the James family in 1978. Many restorations have been made to the house and property to maintain its historical accuracy and to preserve it. After reviewing what little footage I had of the farm from 1989, my memory may have been a little fuzzy from 34 years ago, and some of the artifacts that I thought I saw in the house were probably located in the museum. The cost to enter is $9 for adults, $5.50 for kids, and $8 for seniors 62 and older. The staff here is friendly and very knowledgeable about the structures and the James family. If you want more information, all you need to do is ask. To start your visit, I strongly recommend the video presentation that will take you through the remarkable and often deadly history of the James family and the events that shaped Jesse's life. In the museum, there are tons of artifacts that belong to the James family and, of course, specifically Jesse James. So this, I actually remember, these used to be in the house when I was here in 1989. And this is the top of Jesse's coffin when he was buried in the front yard before he was moved to the Kearney Cemetery. This is the actual picture. Yesterday we saw the other one, but that's what they're saying, is this is the actual picture that he was straightening when he was shot. This chair down here, if you remember, is almost identical to the ones we saw in the Jesse James home yesterday. And I wonder if that's the one he was standing on to adjust that picture. After the museum, you make the short walk to the house and outbuildings. There are several signs that tell you about the buildings and the events that happened here. County has created a replica grave where Jesse was originally buried from 1882 until 1902 when he was reburied next to his wife in the Mount Olivet Cemetery in Kearney. This was the second of 3 funeral services held for the outlaw. The third was in 1995 when it was proved once and for all that the man in the grave was Jesse James with DNA evidence.
This section back here is the 1822 part of the cabin that Jesse would have remembered.
Okay.
And yes, and the room down here at the end, that's the most asked about room in the house. That's the, this one right there,
okay.
Through the screen door. That's the room where the Pinkerton bomb took place.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's the room where the little half-brother was killed and the mother lost her right arm. And the window that looks out toward the outhouse there, that's the location of the window that the Pinkertons threw the bomb.
Okay.
There.
Oh, wow.
And the room right behind you there, that would have been the location of the woodshed right there.
Okay.
So it's just got the storage room now.
Gotcha.
And this is kind of our storyboard here. And there in that first big picture, you can see Jesse's mother. And that was an 8-foot marker. And you can see she was every bit of 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. You can also see that her arm is hanging in that picture.
And that was from the bomb?
That was from the bomb,
yeah.
Right. And she would sell you a rock off his grave for a quarter, which is like $7 and something in today's money.
Yeah.
And we'll still do that.
I love it.
It's actually her bed. And if you notice how that bed's at kind of an odd catty-cornered angle, the reason for that, they were so afraid of grave robbers that his mother had her bed positioned for day or night. She could keep track out there. And she had a loaded gun by the door. Shoot to scare, shoot to kill. I don't think Mama cared much way around, actually.
I'm just gonna mention that again just to make sure I got it. That the reason the bed is positioned that way is to watch so that she can keep her eye on.
All the furnishings throughout the whole house did come back from the family, so everything is original to the family.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And now, the cabin section, when the county bought this in 1978, there were trees growing up through the floor, the ceiling was caving in, it was a mess. So they had to do an awful lot of restoration.
I'm sure glad they did, though.
Oh, me too.
I mean,
they bought it from Jesse's grandsons for $100,000 for the 40 acres and the mansion.
Holy smokes.
And this section up here, these first 2 rooms right here, that's actually an 1893 kit house that we think came from Sears.
Oh, okay.
And that was added by Jesse's mother, Zarelda.
Okay.
That was Frank and Annie's room there.
This
that you're looking at.
Okay.
And if you notice how there on the left-hand side, there's a sewing machine.
Yeah.
Well, Annie was a school teacher from Independence, right down the road here. She didn't care for the tourism part. She'd sit in there at her sewing machine, shut that connecting door between the 2 rooms. Frank would do all the tours to the house he wanted. Everybody went home happy.
I love it. All right, well, we got the James farm down. Happy to report, it is not dilapidated. That's not why they don't let you in the house. They are maintaining it extremely well. But the reason they don't let you walk through the house anymore is during and kind of sort of after COVID, they noticed that people started taking things. Certain artifacts started coming up missing and stuff like that. So, you know, somebody got to ruin it for all of us. But again, all the staff there are so friendly, so helpful. And big thanks to Linda for guiding me through that. We got into some deep cuts on Skinwalker Ranch, talking about that when she found out I used to live in Utah. So I showed her on the map about where the Skinwalker Ranch is. She's well into that series. So anyway, thank you, Linda. It was a pleasure, and thanks for all your help. Now we are, I better get with it, this guy in the Corvette behind me. But now we're gonna head over to the cemetery where Jesse James is currently buried. All right, so here at the cemetery, I gotta tell you, I've been waiting to see this for quite some time, over 30 years. I was so bummed that we didn't stop at the cemetery, and looking at it now, like I don't have a lot of recollection of the drive or anything, but we would have had to have driven right by this cemetery without taking any extra turns just to get back on the highway and get to the rest of the places we were going. So I've always wanted to come and check this out, but this is kind of the disturbing part. I get it. Even still, souvenir hunters are coming and taking chips off of the headstone. You got Dr. Samuel over here, and then Jesse's mother, Zerelda, and then talking about the firebombing that the Pinkertons did in that window that Linda was showing us. This is Archie. He was a half-brother to Jesse James, and he was killed in that explosion. But anyway, very cool. And I'm finally able to get this one on the books. Super simple to come visit. Well, I gotta go meet with my nephew. I gotta drive about an hour out of the way. Did not give myself enough time. I honestly, I wasn't gonna go to the Jesse James farm. I'm glad I did. But I gotta go meet up with him, and then I'm gonna wind up coming back about another 45 minutes to do a couple of other things, then back to Darren's shop, where I'm gonna finally start editing video, and then I can get an early start tomorrow to head towards Arkansas. So I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Kenny, this is Sagebrush Soul. May the best of your past be the worst of your future.